Welcome back, guys, or if you're new to my channel, this is Automotive Anonymous, and I'm currently driving a 2025 Mazda CX-50. Specifically, it's a Premium Plus, so it's a pretty high trim level for not being a turbo, and there's a lot of things that I need to show you in this bonus video. But first of all, watch the acceleration. Foot to the floor. It does take quite a while to get up to highway speeds, but to be fair, I am at altitude about 4,000 feet above sea level, so this vehicle is down on power over 10%. But this is kind of the bonus driving impressions video where I talk a little bit more about the actual creature comforts and features and the things that I've noticed and the things that I don't necessarily like. But there are also a lot of things that I do like. And so I have more time to express some of those feelings, thoughts, and opinions in this video than I do in my full review, which I just finished one of these, the full review of it. But I also have another one, a regular S Premium and a turbo model that's already finished for this year. So what is it like to drive the CX-50? Well, in short, it feels kind of like an old school Toyota. It feels beefy, it feels stable, it feels thick and reliable. The steering isn't easily persuaded by inputs, so you're not accidentally going to bump the wheel. It doesn't have the best visibility, kind of like the Rav4 of the current generation, but you can still see out really well. The side mirrors are big. The rear view mirror cuts right through the 15.4 foot length of this vehicle. I do love the soul red paint color on the hood. You can see that pretty well, and the hood does slope down. A lot of people knock the infotainment system on Mazdas. You do have this scrolly dial to control it, so it's more of a tactile feel versus having all these buttons and switches. And basically software that's going to go out of date pretty quickly. I actually own a Mazda Miata 2023 with this software, and I actually really like it. Apple CarPlay works fantastic. I don't know about Android Auto. I'm assuming it's about the same though. But I actually really like the screen, and it's not distracting. It doesn't stick out, it doesn't glare and get super bright and reflect a lot of light onto your eyes. It's just a nice system. Mazda's also keeping all the physical climate controls, which I really appreciate. And where this one is about a $40,000 vehicle, it does have heated seats, but also has ventilated seats. And what Mazda does really well is their ventilated seats actually pull the heat or the air away from you rather than just blowing cold air onto your sweaty back. So these seats work a lot better than most other vehicles. And in fact, Mazdas are typically the only vehicle that I sometimes actually have to turn the seats off because they do get too hot. And I am someone who really likes heated seats. I'm going to get into a few of the cruise control settings and show you what that looks like. You can turn it on with the button right here, which depending on the lighting you have, when the sun's kind of behind us like it is right now, I can hardly see that. I literally have to like put my thumb on the button to block some light and to get a reflection a little bit. But it's easy to engage, it's easy to set, and we'll see if it stops us very well or slows us down up here. I haven't noticed that the lane keep assist on this works as well as it does on Subarus. I don't have nearly as much confidence in this system, but it is slowing me down pretty well at the distance that I have set. You can also see a little bit of a heads up display right there. And I forgot to mention, if you guys get anything out of this video so far or anything that's yet to come, please consider liking my video. That helps me know you want to watch more stuff like this. It also helps the video get shared to other people who might appreciate it, and helps you by having YouTube choose to show you more videos like this. But also check out the Goody Motor Mazda group. I'm going to link them below. They sell below MSRP and they ship all over the country, so they're a really cool dealership to work with. But anyways, just driving this through country and now driving it through town on my way to go drop it back off. I like how it drives. I like how it handles. I like that it just feels reliable. This 2.5 liter engine, it only makes about 187 horsepower, 186 pound-feet of torque. And you have to rev it out pretty high to get to those peak numbers. So it's not very punchy, and while we wait for this red light, let me show you what it does 0 to 60. 0 to 60 in the 2025 CX-50. Traction's off, sport mode is on, density altitude's 4,200 feet, so this one is down on power, probably like 10 to 13%. Let's see what it can do. True 0 to 60 came in at 10.64 seconds. So I'll be honest, it's not very often that I have to go through the other pages on my GPS to find the 10-second and slower 0 to 60s, but this vehicle in today's test did not do faster than a 10-second. Heck, it took almost 600 feet or over 1/10 of a mile just to get up to the highway speed limit. So I know some of you guys are going to argue with me in the comments that you don't need more powerful engines for more safety, but you actually do, especially at altitude. Keep in mind, this vehicle, it's unloaded. I'm not towing 1,500 pounds. I don't have the whole 850 pound payload capacity maxed out. Just me and my backpack, a measly 200 pounds or so. And even at some altitude, not even going up a mountain pass or anything. And it took almost 600 feet to get up to the speed limit. Usually the turbo crossovers, they do it in around 330 to 400 feet. So just imagine, you need 50% more room or more of a gap when you're gonna pull onto like a T intersection onto the highway to not cut off a driver, not induce road rage potentially, which I know is not your fault, that's their reaction. But still, you don't wanna be cutting people off because your vehicle just can't do it. Around town, is the power a problem? Heck no, absolutely not. And around town, this is just a really fun vehicle. I'm gonna roll down both of the front windows and we're gonna see if we get any wind buffeting at about 45 miles an hour. No, this actually is really good. Sometimes interestingly shaped vehicles, kind of like the current 5th gen Supra, they have horrendous wind buffeting. This one does not. Overall, you know, you feel like you're adequately sized on the road. I'm a little bit bigger than the Fusion and the old Corolla in front of me. About as big as this Escape next to me. So this isn't a huge vehicle. It weighs less than 4,000 pounds. It's less than 16 feet long, but it is kind of zippy around town. Low speeds, especially with first gear accelerations. It gets through traffic quite well. And Mazdas that are at the upper trim levels have the Bose speakers. You can see it advertised off of the A-pillar. Bose systems sound pretty good in these. And sometimes these speaker systems seem to sound better than a lot of the competition on other like premium audio on other crossovers. But still, for $40,000, you're not buying your own studio. You know, it's just a little bit better than the base speakers, but it's a nice addition to this. Additionally, the wind and road noise, not bad at all. But one of the complaints that people do have about the CX-50 are the seats. The seats look cool. I really like the ventilation, the heated features. And I've been paying a little bit more attention to that today after getting a lot of comments by you guys about uncomfortable seats on the other videos I've posted for the year. And what I will say is I still think they're comfortable, but I don't have a lot of sore points and pressure points and things that are bothering me. So there's definitely not as much thickness or compliancy to the bolstering. The heated feature works really well, but it does feel like you're not very high off above maybe the metal frames or whatever is structuring these seats. So for some people, this might not work out for you. Some people might want to try the cloth seats or maybe a different variety of seats than at least the models that I've reviewed. But like everything else, guys, you need to test drive the competition. You need to check out the CX-5, the Rav4, the CR-V, the Forester, the Tucson, all those other vehicles, and you know, half a dozen others, just to make sure that you are in fact buying the right vehicle for you, because there's nothing like spending 40 grand on the wrong vehicle. But overall, I do think that this one is a pretty good one. Its downfalls, like we mentioned, the seats are kind of hard. The back seats, they're tiny. If you guys have been around modern Mazdas, you know that. But overall, I mean, I've driven dozens of modern Mazdas. I've driven all the current models, all the different powertrains, and I like them a lot. I do think that Mazda might be taking Toyota's place in being the more affordable, more reliable Japanese automaker. This one also does not seem to have start-stop on it. I haven't noticed that feature anywhere, the iStop. It hasn't turned off in quite a while that I've had this vehicle today. And I also have not noticed cylinder deactivation, which there are mixed results. I've seen different answers online. Some of you guys have had cylinder deactivation in your non-turbo 4 cylinders. Some of you guys have not. Some of you guys have not had that because of part shortages from the last few years. And some of you guys are also saying that Mazda has done away with that system. In general, cylinder deactivation is not a reliable system, and there's much better ways to reduce fuel economy, which another drawback is this one, even with a 10 plus seconds 0 to 60, only having a 4-cylinder engine and a reliable old school 6-speed transmission, it's only rated for 25 city, about 31 on the highway. And let's go through info. Over the life of this vehicle so far, it's been getting about 16. Not a fair comparison. Most of the time with this is idling, like while the dealership probably takes photos and registers it and does all the things. I know that the mileage has slowly been coming up while I've been driving it, but it still is not a class winner. Correction, I looked at the window sticker for this aspect of it just a little bit too late. Even though at no point am I driving with this, having it for several hours, have I noticed cylinder deactivation. On the window sticker under the engine, it is blatantly, obviously, abundantly clear that this does have cylinder deactivation. So that is kind of a bummer, but I still think, I'd probably rather trust a Japanese automaker to do that than a lot of the other automakers, but that's enough on that topic. And something else worth mentioning before we sign off on this video is there is a hybrid coming. It's going to be here probably in a couple weeks, and I'll do a review of one very soon. But Mazda gave up their really reliable all-wheel drive system, which is actually quite good. I have some videos of Mazdas in the winter, and it surprised me at how good it was. And they are using Toyota's hybridization system that has the eCVT and the electronic all-wheel drive. So I don't know. I guess we'll see when I drive one soon what my thoughts are on it. But so far I am a little bit disappointed that that's the route Mazda went. But to be fair, I guess Mazda only sells a few 100,000 units in the United States every year. They're not a huge company like Toyota that sells millions of units in the US every year. So if they can't maybe afford the R&D, they can't afford to do as many creative things, and they might need to collaborate on some deals and helping them become a bigger brand to do more stuff in the future. But anyways, guys, if you got anything out of this video, if it was informative or helpful in any way, please consider liking this video. Comment your thoughts and opinions below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And check out Goody Motor Mazda. They are one of the best Mazda dealerships in the nation. With that said, I wish you guys the best. Hope you take care. See ya.